Hello, everyone. This is Cuauhtemoc Mendez from Tribu Cultura Astronómica and Tec de Monterrey here in Mexico. I'm going to talk with you about astronomy outreach and mobile libraries, bringing the library to new audiences and new audiences into science book. What we do here is we joined two things I'm sure we all love here, which is astronomy outreach and books. Of course, we did it in a different context. And by different context, I mean, of course, out of the school. Mexico does not have important centers dedicated to promote reading. Regularly, the only place where young people have access to books is at school. But these places don't used to have materials that really attracts the attention of the public. In addition to this, schools dropouts here in Mexico occur mainly at the secondary school level. And this happens most of the times due to economic reasons. The most unfortunate thing is that these young people will become adults who will no longer have an approach to books, nor will they have options to continue their education. Now, in this talk, I will share some experiences and results that we have seen once combining mobile libraries, again, with astronomy outreach activities. This whole thing has happened so far in the metropolitan area of Guadalajara and also in the rural areas of the state of Jalisco. Now, Tribu Cultura, by the way, tribu is the Spanish word for tribe. Tribu Cultura Astronómica is the name of our NGO. This NGO is located here at Guadalajara, the capital city of Jalisco, Mexico. It is formed by 4 teachers of different topics such as astronomy, biology, physics, social development, but also circus arts. Yes, juggling and clown. But the most important part of that team, of course, is the crew that is formed so far by 7 young students. All of them used to be our students, and they all share the same passion about space, science, astronomy, and also about sharing what they know with the people. Now, paradoxically, here at Guadalajara happens the biggest Spanish-speaking international book fair. This book fair is just the second biggest in the world. However, this has not contributed to improve reading levels here in Jalisco. Now, according to the results published for the 2013 PISA test, which, by the way, are the most recent test we have because PISA test happens no longer here in Mexico, the performance in science of young Mexicans, as we may observe in this slide, is that 70% of them are located in the first 2 levels. Now, the meaning of this, according to PISA, is that they can reach conclusions based on simple research and make literal interpretations of the results of scientific research. Now, this level of scientific culture does not correspond to the requirements demanded by the economy of this moment in which we all live, but especially for a country that seeks to attract companies in the technology and innovation industry. Now, on the other hand, astronomy, as we all know here, is a topic that naturally attracts people, and it sparks a natural curiosity, especially when it offers the chance to use a telescope with your own hands. This really attracts people, and as we have noticed in astronomy outreach sessions that we have done so far in urban and rural areas. Here in the image, Magda is explaining to some kids about what they're actually watching. And at the same time, you may observe some people in the back enjoying the free tacos. So free tacos is also part of the experience. This is in a park here in the city when we were all doing some moon gazing with telescopes, talks, and screening of the image coming out of the telescopes also. Now, considering all this, we decided to join efforts with 2 government agencies that have a common interest with our organization. On one side, there is COECITJAL, which is the Council for Science and Technology in the state of Jalisco. They have a mobile science library program operating already in most municipalities of this state. On the other hand, there is the municipality of Zapopan, the second most important city of Jalisco. They are leading the Luciérnaga project, which is actually on this image, an innovative mobile library that is seeking to reach children living in the most vulnerable areas of the city. By the way, on the back, you may observe the Basilica de Zapopan. In case you're considering to visit us, it's a very interesting place to be. As a team, we designed astronomy outreach experiences accompanied by thematic talks, interactive dynamics, and of course, stargazing with telescopes. This resulted in bringing new audiences to enter the library, to become familiar with the books and with some other activities that happens inside a library. Now, the regular format of this experience is as follows. On first, there is the installation of all physical equipment. And by physical equipment, I mean the mobile library itself, the stage, the big screen, and the telescopes. Then comes the educational circus show, where Bruno, here, the pirate, who is, by the way, a professional clown and juggler, begins to play in order to capture the children's attention and to invite them with their families, of course, to participate in the experience. Then there is the screening of a video in which also Bruno explains about certain topic. It may be about the moon, star constellations, the cause of the seasons, or about some planets. Then Bruno deepens the explanation in an interactive way with the participation of children. And then, of course, comes the invitation to do stargazing with the telescopes and the invitation to get into the mobile library to listen to a story, to read with their family, or to do some other interesting activities in the library. Now, this series of activity were repeated twice or 3 times throughout the night so that people who were passing by could join the experience. It's lovely, right? Now, I'd like to bring your attention to the woman on the left side of this image. As you may observe, and I say this with all due respect, she is a local indigenous people. And I mention this because one of the most interesting things we remember was actually looking at them. She was there with her entire family, sorry. But this, unfortunately, doesn't happen quite often here in Mexico. Now, the reason for they to join the experience may have been because of the attractive of the circus show. We may observe Bruno on the back, or maybe because stargazing, astronomy, the telescopes, or the mixture of all of them. But I must say it was really, really special. And now we're actually learning their language in order to incorporate some explanations that could be better understood for them. By the way, the learning that most surprises the public was when they wonder why the moon and the planets are moving from the telescope image, right? That's when the crew explains them that we're actually living in a planet that is continuously rotating, something that perhaps we all learn in elementary school, but it didn't make much sense at that time. This image is how another day in the office looks for us. This is the municipality of Lagunillas. The name of this particular place is Tierra Colorada, which means red soil. It brings a planetary sense to the experience. And here you may observe the crew already preparing the telescopes for the night. The local government puts the church, which I believe in 3 hours after this image became into this. Maybe it was the first time that our true astronomical outreach experience happened in this place. Of course, when this experience was made in rural areas, as is the case, the adaptation had to be made in order to serve more people, right? The mobile library placed tables outside, so in order to show interactive elements such as planet spheres, asteroid rocks, infographics, so the public could interact with these items. At the same time, the stargazing with telescopes took place, and a large screen entertained the audience with Bruno's videos. Also, something quite important happened. Local residents were invited to come and sell food, drinks, and their arts and crafts. And all this together made the experience more pleasant, so people stayed longer. And in addition, economic benefit for the community was generated. As we already mentioned, tacos is already part of the experience. Here they are selling enchiladas, chicharrones, and all Mexican local food. This is maybe one of my favorite pictures. We may observe locals maybe using for the first time a telescope. And so, as we said at the beginning, bringing science to new audience and new audience into science books also. Now, we as teachers are very interested in the curiosity with which people and children and adults have approached to listen about astronomy. Here we are talking about the direction in which this lovely planet rotates. But we also realize that even more important than the possible educational impact we can achieve is the social impact on people, making them feel that even if they are out of the school system, science is something very interesting and it's within their reach. The most important thing we guess is that how we may remind them that no matter if they are inside of the educational system or out of it, we're all still part of the same tribe. I'd like to thank Quantitative for their grant. This is how they made all these experiences become possible. And to you, clear skies.